Welcome to the Alaska, Santa Fe, and Pacific's Model Railroad. Well, I got a few things done on the layout, but I'm going to show you how I've been doing some of the scenery. So follow along. Enjoy. Well, good morning. Back at it again. As you can see, I've got some scenic grass down. And what I'm going to do right now is just clean up the overfluff, and I'm going to seal it. And I use a hairspray to seal it. So let me take the little vacuum and just get the stuff right off the edges cleaned up so it's not all over the ballast. So let me do that real quick. My little DeWalt vacuum cleaner comes in pretty handy. Okay, let me move this car out of the way so I don't accidentally get stuff on it. And I'm going to grab my bottle of hairspray. What I do is I go to the dollar store and they have this extra hold hairspray for $1.25 a bottle. And what I do is get it spraying here. There we go. And I try not to hold it up too high, but you see how it's blowing stuff all over? You got to be careful of that. Let me do it from this angle if I can. But what you want to do is spray it down pretty heavy. Kind of wet it. And it's okay if the ground foam rolls up a little bit, because that just adds texture to your yard and takes away the monotony of it just being flat all over. Put it down really liberal. You want to almost get it wet. Not quite, but good enough that you can see it. I don't like all of this stuff blowing around. That's the only drawback when you're spraying this stuff, is it wants to blow. But if you get it up high enough to start with. I did put some coarse ground foam on top of it too, so that's some of the stuff that you see blowing around. Anyway, you just keep rolling it out of there. Don't want it all over the ballast. And just keep spraying till you get it wetted down. Once you get a little bit of this on there, it'll hold it down. And it doesn't hurt to get a little grass, you know. Grass does grow in the tracks, especially in yard areas, because they don't get groomed as much. But get it down, you can see it's starting to quit blowing around now, because I've got a layer of it on here. Anyway, once I get it to quit blowing, I just keep coming back and soak it down. And you can really put a lot of this stuff on it, because the more you get on it, the better it'll seal it, and it won't blow off or rub off too bad. I mean, it'll rub off, but not terribly bad. But you really can't put too much on it, because when it dries, it'll still dry clear. Just go over it, and if you see stuff blowing around, just keep Keep spraying it. And if you don't like the grass up on the stuff, you can come back with your vacuum cleaner and clean it all up again. So, like I said, I do this pretty liberal. I want to make sure I see it wet. So, cheap at any rate. $1.25 for a bottle. I usually buy a couple of bottles at a time because I do use a lot of it. Okay, that's probably good enough. Now what I'm going to show you is how did I get to that stage? So give me a minute and I will go to the next step. Okay, this is just the old Elmer's white school glue, washable, no run, $1.25 at the dollar store. You can just about get it anywhere, Walmart, dollar store. But I found the dollar store is the cheapest. It's $1.25. It used to be $1, but you know how that is. Anyway, I just take and unscrew the top off of this thing. And I'll start over here where I have, let me get that brush I had here. I just take this brush and I take whatever's loose that got blown out here and just kind of fluff it out up into here. Just to get it out of the way. All right, now let me get my little stool to give me some height. It's right here. Okay, got a little step stool I use to drag around. So what I do is I take the bottle and I just hold it upside down and I run it right along the edge of where I want to put the glue, right up against it. And just let it come out of the bottle. And just keep going around. So you're just putting a nice layer of glue down. Probably need another bottle because this one's not going to do it, I don't think. I'm on the adage that you really can't put too much of this glue down. I mean, once you get a nice white field, it's pretty much going to do what you want it to do. I'll let that drain. Now take your finger and go back here and push it up against the ballast and sweep it around into where we sprayed the old glue layer for the old grass. So once you get that started and up where you want it against the ballast line, just start spreading it out nice and even so you got a good white layer. And you can go back over here to this grass area because the next time you put the grass down, you're going to hairspray it down to lock it in, so it's not real critical. Try not to get it too much up on the ballast, but it's not going to hurt. Grass does grow along the edges. So as you can see, it's a little dry right in here. So just want a nice even layer. When I do this stuff with Kaiser, it reminds me of the old guy that used to paint. I can't think of his name right now. Ross. Something Ross. Anyway, they did a commemorative boxcar for him at Lionel, if you are interested. He used to be in the Air Force, was stationed at Eielson, Alaska, where I was stationed once when he was young, but he got into the painting thing. Of course, you know he's passed away, but painting with Ross, he always made it look so easy. So just kind of spread it out. Hopefully I got enough here and don't have to open another bottle. I'm just trying to get a nice even layer. You guys can see what I'm doing here. Just keep moving your glue around to get it where you need it. Like I said, it's not rocket science, and you really can't screw things up. I mean, just keep spreading it around. Try to get it so it's not rigid on you. Move my stool over a little bit. Oops. Didn't want to do that. Anyway, as you can see, I'm getting it pretty well covered. Come on. And right along the edge of the ballast line here. Get it right along that lip. I don't know, that's about 2 square feet. That's about how much one of these little bottles will cover. So just work a small area at a time. You get it down. You can get a glue roller, which I ordered one. It's coming in the mail. But this seems to work pretty good too. Just that way you can work it in where you need to. Seems like you're gonna work it in anyway once you get it all spread out. Okay, that's pretty good right there. So I'm gonna throw the little bottle away. Sometimes I'll fill them full of hot water and do that. Now, let me show you the next step here. Okay, I use the good old Woodland scenicking materials. This is the fine turf. This is burnt grass. This is the turf blend, kind of a medium green. It says green blend. And this is coarse turf. Coarse turf is the little fuzzy things you see here and there. I'll add more of that later. But I like to start with the fine turf. It's T1344. It's kind of a burnt grass color. And what I do with that is I sprinkle that very gently along the edges like this. Because if there's going to be any dead grass or almost looking dead, it's going to be right along the track where they've weed sprayed and whatever. And then I just take and do the same on the other side here. Just a light dusting, almost none. You just want it to bleed through on the edges when you start to do it. Oops. All of that stuff will get vacuumed up, even though I try not to do much because I don't want to waste it. And then I just lightly sprinkle it just randomly out through here, just to give some variation. Okay, that's it for the burnt grass. Now I'm going to go to the turf blend. And you can use any shade of colors you want. This is just what I've picked. Now this gets put on pretty liberal. And I don't know why, but it always seems to clog up in this particular container. So it's got a mix of grass colors in here. You know, grass isn't just one color. So I put it on pretty liberal. And I just keep sprinkling until I cover all the white glue up so I can't see it. And if the white glue bleeds through, which it will, you just come back and dust it a little bit more. And if you want, you can always come back with the burnt and hit it very lightly again, just in some areas, just to give you some variation. But just go ahead and keep sprinkling this stuff out. Get it nice and sifted on very lightly. Get a good layer down first on all of it. Don't know why it likes to clog up. It's almost like a sticky salt shaker. Salt and pepper. But you want it just coming out light dusting. You don't want it dumping in big piles, because it'll just get wasted otherwise. And you want it to go on so it sinks down into the glue. That's the idea. Don't want any really thick areas, but you want it to just keep sinking into the glue. Just trying to get all the white covered up. Move them so I can see a little better here. Oops. Get a little carried away right there. Just going back and everywhere where I see the glue bleeding through, I'm just sprinkling a little bit more on there. Now the reason it looks like there's a color difference from here to there is this has been wetted with hairspray, so it's going to be a little darker till it dries. But once this dries, which won't happen until tomorrow, I'll come back and do the hairspray trick on it as well. So as you can see, it's almost all there. You can see the glue bleeding through every once in a while, a few spots. So you just tap it lightly. And like I said, I don't like it, but you can vacuum up the edge of the track where I've got it on the ballast in there. That'll come up tomorrow. So you let this sit for a little bit. And then if you want, since you got a layer, just gently tap it. Gently tap it with your hand. And that'll pack it into the glue and help flatten it out a little bit. This little spot right there. Just barely tapping it, hardly putting any pressure on there at all. This just locks it in, make sure it's getting pushed into the glue good. And then once you do that, you're going to notice that it's bleeding through again, so you just lightly tap over it again. That just make sure we don't have any shiny glue spots after it dries. Okay, I'm happy with that, so we'll call that good enough. Now, the coarser stuff, you take that out, and it doesn't shake quite as easy, but you can put a few pieces here and there, because grass and weeds and stuff, they all grow randomly. So that's what you're doing, just throw out some random stuff here. And you can put it thicker in some spots if you want, like that. Okay, so that's going to sit and dry overnight. So tomorrow we will come back and do the hairspray trick like I showed you at the beginning. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. I'll take my camera and show you some other things before I say goodbye. If you notice, there's a couple little clumps of weeds here and there. I bought these off of Temu. Just got them in yesterday. Oops. And I went around and just kind of randomly put them here and there. If you notice, this is my little road I made out of gravel going into the power plant. That was just glue and sand, and same thing, hairspray trick. Anyway, you can see I'm getting quite a bit of it done. I'll do this other little square next probably. But anyway, hope you enjoyed and learned something. Well, thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Hit the like button and come back and see me again. Bye.